Hello out there and welcome. This is my video blog, Casino Williams, coming live to you from Las Vegas, Nevada on a fabulous football Friday. Before I get into more of my fantasy lineups and my picks for this week, I first want to say congratulations to the 7-Ounce Basketball Club. Another big win yesterday as we were able to get a victory over Old Gold Legs. So that moves our team to 8-1 now on the season. As you know, basketball is a huge passion of mine, the 7-Ounce Basketball Club. If you're not familiar with them, you can always go to www.7ounce.com. You can get all the information you need about the club, about potentially joining and maybe playing in the club, setting up scrimmages against us, following some of our players as they continue to enhance their career, whether it be overseas or just high school players looking to make the team this year. So that's enough pub for the basketball club. And don't forget, you can always go to 7ounce.com to get all your 7-Ounce merchandise. I want to get into this weekend because it's a huge sports weekend. And I say sports. NBA preseason starts tonight as well. So, those of you know me, I love the game. So even the preseason games, I'm watching closely to see what I can pick up as the season, right before the season starts. But what most people want to talk about is obvious. It's a football Friday. I got my fantasy lineup in. I play fantasy football on DraftKings.com. It is by far the best fantasy football site. DraftKings is revolutionizing fantasy football. You're talking about as little as 25 cents winning thousands of dollars in tournaments by just having a little more insight than your opponents. I've got my lineup set this week all ready for college. I played yesterday in the Thursday night game. I'm all right. I'm sitting at about 53 points right now, but both my quarterbacks are yet to go, and I got my boy Paxton Lynch from Memphis. I expect him to put up big numbers tonight, so I'm super excited about that. I've got my lineup for this weekend going, and I really like it. I'll just tell you this. There are going to be some players from that Baylor-Texas Tech game. If you haven't known, the books have this as the highest total ever, I'm assuming in any football game ever, because the college football totals are always the highest. So the books have them set at 90.5 the last time I watched it. So I will definitely be having some players from that game in my fantasy lineup. Won't say who, but hopefully we'll see a repeat of last week when I had Texas Tech's quarterback against TCU. And it really helped me get some points and gain some heads-up victories this week on DraftKings. As for the NFL, I'm still contemplating. I don't know. I'm still toying around with a few things. I do know one thing. Julio! Every week, it's Julio Jones. We ride or die with Julio every week. If you haven't caught on, Julio Jones is putting up stupid numbers. I mean, absolutely stupid numbers right now. So Julio is a blind pick. They can't set the cap high enough on DraftKings for me. And I know the fantasy gurus will laugh, but it's just how can you avoid this guy when he's doing the things he's doing every week? Not only in fantasy, but just in general on the football field. So we know one play that we will be having for sure, and that is playing Julio. Everybody else I don't know. I'm thinking about some other quarterback receivers combinations, but I'm looking and see. I kind of have a gut feeling about a guy this week that might have a very big week. I'm not going to say who it is right now because I want to do a little more research, but I do have a feeling that maybe one of the lower priced quarterbacks, a little bit like how Andy Dalton did last week, should have a pretty big fantasy week this week. Won't give up any names just yet. As far as the other news from this week, it's also a big college football week on the betting side. There are some underdogs that I absolutely love this week in college football. First, right off the bat, I guess it's no secret around here in Las Vegas, but the Crimson Tide are a dog for the first time in 6 years. Yeah, I'll take those points. Basically, Nick Saban underdog, my money is already down. Now, it's funny that I say that because part of me thinks that they're a dog for a reason. Like I think everyone knows, there's a reason why they're underdog. Georgia is at home. Nick Chubb has been awesome, but really the matchup, in my opinion, favors Bama. I mean, one, it's supposed to be rainy out there in Athens this week, but also two, Georgia is best when they're running downhill right at you. And I've never seen anyone have any success against the Tide since Saban's been there of lining up and running directly at Alabama. I mean, maybe there's a game I'm missing. But I haven't seen any offense have any success. And while Grayson Lambert has been, accurate, let's be honest, the competition is not the same. Yeah, South Carolina, but South Carolina is down. The competition is not the same that he's going to see. So the only thing that worries me a little bit about that game is I don't know how good Lambert is. But my gut feeling is that he's going to have to beat them throwing the ball. And I'm going to take my chances that he's not going to be able to do it. On the Alabama side, feed the rock to this monster named Derrick Henry. This is an unbelievable year for running backs in college football. And I don't want people to forget about Derrick Henry. He's putting up silly numbers. He is not on my fantasy lineup this week only because of the competition that he's playing. But I expect him to have a pretty big game this week. Everyone's talking Nick Chubb. I like Derrick Henry, especially because he's going to get there's a nice change-up with him and Kenyon Drake. And I want to see if Georgia's going to be able to match up with Alabama up on those offensive and defense, and then Georgia's respective defensive line. I don't think they can do it. My other play that I really like this weekend, and originally being from Indiana, kind of pains me a little bit, but I'm going with the Clemson Tigers. This number's at 1.5, and it just feels like it's one of those New York Yankee, LA Lakers, Notre Dame Fighting Irish lines. Notre Dame is perceived to be good this year, but this is the same team that still struggled to beat Virginia. Now you're telling me banged up with a mass unit, they're going to walk into one of the most hostile environments in all of college football, and they're going to be able to essentially compete and beat this undefeated Clemson team? I don't know. My money's on Clemson. One, I think that they're going to have a lot of problems containing that Clemson QB. Also, I just think that the injuries and attrition are going to have to take their toll on Notre Dame at some point in time, and this feels like the time. This is going to be a big, big game, especially for Clemson. So I think that Notre Dame is going to have some backup guys come out and play above their heads to have a chance to win. And I just don't see that happening. I really like Clemson this week. I expect them to go out, move the ball, and I expect defensively for them to be able to put a lot of pressure on the Notre Dame QB, pressure that he hasn't seen, and pressure with only a four-man front. Maybe a few confusing blitzes thrown in there, but in my opinion, this sets up for Clemson to play in an emotionally charged atmosphere, start fast, and be able to control Notre Dame for most of the game. Those are my two picks. Before I go, one of the other things I want to talk about is this trending thing that I see on Facebook. And this is my Facebook rant for today. I'm not sure when this notion of there's these other basketball players that are better than Michael Jordan started. But I'm here to tell you that this is absurd. I don't want to get into all the reasons that Jordan is the greatest player. If you'd like to argue someone like Bill Russell, I'll hear your argument because I think that's the only other person that has a valid argument. But until somebody does just a few of the things that he's done, I really don't want to hear anything. Like, for instance, in '88, that's kind of one of the greatest seasons of all time. Jordan led the league in scoring and was the defensive player of the year. Like, can you imagine that? Like, just think about that for a second. Who led the league last year? James Harden? People clown James Harden for their defense. Essentially, before he even started winning championships, Jordan was the best offensive and defensive player in the league. I'll give you something else that people don't seem to understand. Michael Jordan did not win every title. He didn't win. He had some losses. But look at who he lost to. He lost to the Celtics in 86, 87. He lost to the bad boys, 88, 89, 90. Those are some of the greatest teams of all time. And he was playing before his guys had even reached his prime in an era where all teams were stacked. The second that Scottie Pippen hit his prime, Jordan started collecting rings. I get that it's cute and that a different generation that hasn't seen him probably think that they can make their bones by saying he wasn't the greatest. You know, kind of how like new rappers come and call out old rappers. But come on, man, let's be serious. 1 week in against the Knicks, down 2-1 against a team that was bigger, stronger, younger, faster, Mike just decided to tie the series by himself and throw it 54. They would have a 30 for 30 if one of these guys in the league did this today, including a guy like LeBron or Steph Curry or James Harden. Until somebody comes and does half of the things that Jordan has accomplished on the court, let's chill out with all the Mike hating. That's my time for today. It's the Casino Williams Show. Wish me good luck on my fantasy sports. And remember, you can find us at www.7ounce.com. And you can also follow my blog, the Casino Williams blog, on Facebook at the Casino Williams, or as well on 7ounce.com. Thank you very much. I look forward to tuning in next time.